Wow, people of Payne County, we are so glad that you've joined us for another episode of Pastors of Payne. We're a radio show, we're a podcast. We're coming to you, not live, but coming to you from Stillwater Radio here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 10th largest city.
What, 10th? Come on.
But slowly becoming a Catholic Mecca. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Joined by my co-host. I'm Father Brian O'Brien from St. Francis Xavier.
I still don't like
joined
the word
by
co-host.
You don't like my name?
Why
don't you like co-host? What's wrong with that?
I still think co-host.
Collaborator?
Co-host implies like I'm mopping the floors after you.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. What?
I'm a co-host and you're a co-host.
What? Then who's the host?
There isn't one. There's two of us.
That sounds lame.
It's not like president and vice president. I'm a host and you're a host. Thus, we are co-hosts.
We're a host squared.
You could also refer to me as your co-host. Like you're the pastor of St. John's, but then if there was another priest who was also pastor, you would be co-pastors, which we don't do in the Catholic Church.
No, we don't. There's no such thing as a co-pastor.
Yeah.
One shepherd.
Because when two people are in charge, nobody's in charge.
Oh, so you're saying...
And that's why our podcast is terrible.
You're kind of in charge because you're...
I mean, from an organizational standpoint,
yes.
But everyone knows that you're the smarter of the two. Everyone knows that your witty banter carries the day.
Well, it's like baseball. Baseball season. Oh, I love baseball season. We need to go to more baseball games at this baseball stadium here in Stillwater.
I've been to two, and I thoroughly enjoyed both of them.
Fantastic.
Even one of them was like really kind of cold.
I
enjoyed it. It whipped up on Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Oh my gosh, Rule Run.
Take that, Golden Lions of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
What was it? It was 20.
Well, the game I went to, it was 12-2, but the day before it was 28-0.
Was it batting practice against a little league team? Is that what happened?
I mean, Arkansas Pine Bluff, they had some game. I mean, they did all right.
Oh, I watched a game the other day. It was Arizona and Arizona State, and the left fielder ball, boom, comes off the bat, goes down the third base line, bounces, guy runs. There's two dudes on base. Guy is rounding second, coming up to third, and the left fielder reaches down to get the ball, and his foot gets stuck in some sort of chain link fence underneath the wall, and his shoe is stuck.
That would never happen here because our grounds crew is the best.
And then the guy rounds third and goes home and scores. And this, by the way, and the other guy rounds first and goes to second. And this guy's got his foot stuck in the wall. And he's like, time. It was a funny moment against Arizona State baseball. Go Pac-12.
The other night, we were both home in the evenings, which is a rarity. And you said, I forgot, you were just like, I want to watch baseball. And I was like, okay. Because I like watching baseball.
And we were supposed to watch Texas OSU game, and then it rained out.
Oh, that's right.
It was rained out.
So we ended up watching LSU.
LSU and Mississippi State, the Rebs.
Yeah.
Which was a good game.
It was so random. We just wanted to watch baseball. We would have watched anything.
No, I really like...
watched like a fourth grade Little League game to watch some baseball.
Baseball is sometimes watching the paint dry.
I'm just kidding.
Baseball.
I do love baseball, though.
It's good. It's a fantastic game.
Well, so it's May, and school's almost out.
Whoa.
Actually, as this airs, school is out.
Is out.
So congratulations on another successful school year. How long have you been here? What do you?
This summer I start 5. I got here in 16.
So you have completed now.
I got here in
18 complete school 16? Years at OSU.
Yeah.
You have seen through a graduating class.
I have.
That's fun.
It is
That's
also
an accomplishment.
But it was kind of strange because the first year was a parish. The second year was moving to another parish. The third year was COVID tied, and the fourth year was the remnant of COVID tied.
Wow. So it's just really had.
No, we haven't had a. And now our building.
That's why so little has been accomplished. Is that? No.
That is the excuse I lay out all the time to the bishop. Just leave, and then we're tearing down the
Why are your
building.
collections down? Well, why? Why does nobody come to church? Well, I'm just kidding.
So, 2022, somewhere between
but then it's
August
still
and
not going to
September.
be.
Somewhere between August and September,
Dude, you're gonna like get moved out of here before you ever have. Because here, like next year, not that you're moving. We're not.
Thank you.
moving.
You're on the presbyteral assignment
personnel board.
Yeah, that.
So then next year is not going to be normal because you're going to not have a building of your own.
Correct.
Then the next year is not going to be normal because you're moving into the building. And then the year after that could be normal unless there's like another global pandemic or... Wow.
So
you're...
So year 8, everything will be stable again.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I was writing it up on the board the other day and I was like, this is this is comical.
Then you're going to need a sabbatical.
Oh yeah. I may take a sabbatical. I may take like a month.
When?
This summer.
This summer would be the time to do it.
This summer is because there's no summer mass.
You haven't put in for a sabbatical. That's like a formal. There's like a formal process to.
Yeah, I'll just probably take vacation.
Okay.
And just do it.
There's no formal process for taking vacation.
You just sign up for it.
Just make sure all your stuff's covered.
Let's see, Sunday Mass, St. Francis Xavier, the new church.
This would be the summer.
Campus minister Clay Furley. Yeah, this is about
He's
it.
going to be your pastor.
He's going to be my associate. He's getting married.
Though he doesn't have. He's not going to have a lot of time.
I can't take a sabbatical because I got all these weddings. I have like 9 weddings this summer.
Stupid married people.
Speaking of married people and the Laity.
Yeah, so we thought we would do a show on the role of lay people.
Of the good people of God.
The role of the laity. Which I think for a lot of people is maybe not something people like think about a lot. But the church has like a very well-formed theology of the laity.
Okay, define the word laity for me. For the good people of God who are out there.
Let me define it as the church defines it. Are you ready for this?
Okay, where are you reading this?
All
you
right,
picked
so
up
this
a piece
is
of paper.
there's a wonderful document from the Second Vatican Council.
Oh, I love the Second Vatican Council.
II, as it's known, which took place from 1962 to 1965. What a council? I think we did a show on this one time.
We have,
but this is we've done 152 shows. So
I remember them all
in order. That's 75 hours of
hanging out with us
gabbing. Our producer Jay is like, I know, I'm so bored.
I'm getting out of purgatory.
This is the worst 30 minutes of my week.
I just learned what it was 6 weeks ago, and now I'm getting out of it.
So a council is a gathering, a very formal gathering of the bishops of the world, united around the Pope, the Holy Father, the successor of St. Peter, the servant of the servants of God, the vicar of Christ, and they do stuff. They decide stuff. They produce documents to guide the church for the next sort of period of time. So, councils in the history of the church
have crushed heresy. Ephesus,
the Council
431.
of Ephesus, Constantinople,
Nicaea,
Chalcedon,
Trent,
Vatican I.
Yes.
Anyway, so there's this whole Council of Jerusalem, right? That's in the
they put
Acts of
together
the Apostles.
theology to crush heresy and to build up the church.
So a lot of times it's in response to something. So the Council of Trent, for example, was in response to what would many call the Protestant Reformation.
Council of Ephesus was against the divinity of Jesus and humanity.
Arians. Yeah.
Nicaea.
So the Second Vatican Council took place in the 60s at a kind of a critical time for the church.
Some would say in response to what? I mean, there's nothing going on out there. I would say it's in a response to what's going on right now.
It's in a response to kind of modernism, I think, I would say.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah,
the idea was to help the church respond to the issues of the day. And so there was this council from 1962 to 1965. And then out of that council came certain documents.
Yep.
One of those documents was a wonderful document that we highly recommend called Lumen Gentium. Lumen
Lumen.
space
Light to the Gentiles.
Gentium. Lumen Gentium. Okay. And in chapter 4 of Lumen Gentium, which is a, I don't know, big document.
60, 70 pages.
20, 30 pages. You can read it.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's so
You should read it this summer. Good
you
laity.
should read it
good
this
people.
summer.
Okay, define
are
laity.
You telling me?
No,
okay. So chapter 4 is on the laity.
Okay, tell us what the laity are.
And it says this. This is paragraph 31. The term laity is here understood to mean all the faithful except those in holy orders and those in the state of religious life specially approved by the church.
Wait.
There it is.
Especially approved by the church.
So the term laity is here understood to mean all the faithful except those in holy orders and those in the state of religious life approved by the church.
Okay, if you're following 897 in the Catechism, Catechism quotes it, 897.
Nice. So a lay person, someone who is in the lay state, would be anyone who is not a deacon, a priest, a bishop, or a religious sister or a religious brother.
Okay.
Yep. So let's give some examples. The people on our staff who are not deacons, lay people, yes.
Yes.
Seminarians studying to be priests,
Laity.
lay people,
The common people.
lay
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
No, they're in formation for married people who aren't deacons, kids, teenagers,
Babies.
college students.
Just baptized.
Yep.
Laity.
Lady.
The common people.
So that's that. I think that's helpful to kind of start it as we begin here. So the question then becomes, and I think there tends to be sometimes kind of a tension of like, what is the role of lay people in the church? So we want to kind of parse that out for you, and especially talk about here in Stillwater, here in Payne County, what does that look like? Because I think it's apparent to everybody that like we have a pope. The pope is not a lay person. We have a bishop. The bishop is not a lay person. You have pastors who are priests who are not lay people. And so what I think it can look like is, well, then the laity have no role because the pope and the bishops and the priests run everything.
Well, that was sort of the case up until the early 60s. When you would have, like, in Stillwater, how many nuns did we have back in the...
A lot. I don't know.
There was a hospital.
Yeah.
Stillwater Medical Center was known as, I think, like
St.
Sacred...
Joseph's or something. Yeah.
St. Joseph's Sacred Heart, something like that. It was run by nuns.
Yep.
The hospital St. John's in Tulsa, run by nuns.
Yep.
There were all these, like, small towns. Like, Paul Huska had a convent.
Yeah.
What's St. Anthony's in... Okmulgee was run by religious priests. And so there were so many of these.
A lot of people, too, when they were kids, if you went to a Catholic school as a kid, like, there were people who were like, yeah, I never had a teacher who wasn't a nun, until college. And it's like, whoa. I mean, those days are over.
And so it was like the religious, those people were, they were doing everything.
And we still see this kind of mindset sometimes when people come to the priest for everything. And I think a lot of times that's kind of maybe older people who kind of have that. And I'm not like downplaying or like making fun of it.
But that's just a custom.
Like I need to know this piece of information. I go directly to the priest, as opposed to like
they Google
just
it.
About anybody else who might have that information. So there can be this kind of tension sometimes between sort of priests who, we're like the pastors of our two parishes.
Correct.
The buck stops with us. Like, are we in charge? Yes. But then what I think we want to get across today is where would we be
if it wasn't
without lay people?
Agree.
And the answer would be our parishes would be terrible. Like, and even in like leadership. So I think the old I don't know how many of you have heard this like line. The old sort of adage is that the laity's job is to pray, pay, and obey.
I've never heard that before.
Pray, pay, and obey. You hear that mindset, when I think you hear it especially when like a decision is made by the Pope, by our bishop, by a pastor.
I've never heard that.
And maybe
before.
like without seeking a lot of input well, you just think, the lay people's job is to pray, pay, and obey. But we don't think that. We don't think that. And that's the mentality. Like, if you're a lay person, you just shut up and pray, shut up and give your tithe and do what we tell you to do.
But that's not what the Second Vatican Council says.
No.
Open.
So I think so. It starts with let's for just a moment talk about baptism. Talk, if you would, like what does baptism do?
Baptism is one, it frees us of original sin. 2, it makes us children of God. 3, it makes us dwelling places of the Holy Spirit. And 4, it makes us members of the body of Christ, the church, priest, prophet, and king.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's where this whole discussion ought to start. That the role of the laity, it begins not when you're selected to be on the parish council. It begins when you're baptized. That every person who is baptized has a very significant role to play in the church. Now, does that mean you're automatically going to become pope? No. But I think that's the mistake that is made sometimes, and that is, if I'm not the pope or a bishop or a priest, I have no important role to play.
Au contraire, mon
yeah,
frère.
and I think we would say,
on.
like, no way.
But that's the difference. That's the mentality between. That's the way of, I think, us thinking, and sort of that different generation who grew up with the priests, the nuns, the religious did everything.
Yep.
And there was a very select few of celebrated.
We'll let you know when we need you.
It's like, no, I need you.
Yeah.
I need
so that's
you
where
now.
one thing we've talked about. We've done episodes like on the idea of stewardship, like living a life of stewardship. So your kind of time and talent and treasure. And here's what let me read what Pope Benedict says. So this is Pope Benedict. So a lot of people
not
kind
in
of have
Vatican
this.
II.
This
He
is
was at Vatican
post-Vatican II. This was
but he was at Vatican II as a priest.
Yes. This is 2012, August of 2012.
I love
so a lot
it.
of people have this opinion of Pope Benedict that he was like all like hardcore.
They called him like the German Shepherd or the.
Well, no, like God's Rottweiler.
Oh, that was it.
He was like
That
the
was-
enforcer of. But listen,
But he
Pope
was the
Benedict.
enforcer.
This is Pope Benedict.
But
He's talking about the role of the laity as co-responsibility.
Whoa, come on.
Here's what he says.
Lay it out to us.
This is from the 6th Ordinary Assembly of the International Forum of Catholic Action. Which is,
Sorry, what?
There was a lot going on.
What year is this?
August 2012.
August 2012, where? Where was this done?
I'm going to go with Rome.
Okay, and it's the Group of Catholic Action.
Don't worry about the group.
Okay, good. Just so people can search it.
Co-responsibility demands a change in mindset, especially concerning the role of lay people in the church. Pope Benedict, here we go. They should not be regarded as collaborators of the clergy, but rather as people who are really co-responsible for the church's being and acting. It is therefore important that a mature and committed laity be consolidated, which can make its own specific contribution to the ecclesial mission with respect for the ministries and tasks that each one has in the life of the church, and always in cordial communion with the bishops. All right.
Whoa.
So that was kind of a.
Whoa,
so it's
whoa,
not
whoa.
like
That was good.
It's that this idea of co-responsibility. That we are all responsible for the church, but we each have roles to play, all right? And so it's not like if I'm not the pastor, then I'm out, Mm-hmm. But rather, I mean, if you look, let's get specific on our two parishes. What role do lay people play in your parish?
Well, Matt Bond, my development
director.
director.
How do I count the ways?
Yeah, how do I count the ways? Matt Bond, my development director. Lauren Lacey, assistant development director. Taylor Uribe, director of communications. Blake Bostic is my finance guy. Clay Furley is campus ministry. Kathy Perry, Irene McKelvey keeps the place
we
clean.
Could say,
boom.
One could say, but yeah, those people are all paid.
Yeah, and then I have lots of student volunteers.
So talk about that. The kind of leadership. You have like a leadership.
We have a student leadership council.
What do they do?
And the job of the student leadership council is to plan events and to put all these things into action and raise up their friends to invite them to faith formation, fund different cool events, get them involved in the Greek community. And then we have missionaries. And we have 5 focused missionaries
All lay people.
All lay people.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is married, and their job is to go out and evangelize on the campus and form college students and to be lifelong missionary disciples. And where did they get this idea of being focused missionaries from? I brought this book, Made for More, by Curtis Martin.
A layperson.
A layperson. And he's the founder of Focus, along with a bunch of other people,
Yes.
the laity.
Focus is like, I mean, they have like bishops and priests on their
Bishop Dan
on their
Muggenberg is on their board.
But like, I mean, that is a lay.
That's a lay
organization.
And the one that you use, Cross Canadian Catholic. Wait, that's ragweed. Cross Canadian ragweed. They go across Canadian
Catholic Christian Outreach.
Catholic Christian Outreach is a lay organization as well.
In Canada, yeah.
And so these lay organizations then
are kicking butt.
Have done what we can't do, which is I think what the Second Vatican Council was asking, like, hey, how are we evangelizing the world? How is the Holy Spirit going out into the world? And so we're doing that. The laity, I love that. They're
co-responsible.
Like they look at the parish of St. John Catholic Student Center and say, I'm responsible for this place too. It's not just Father Kerry's job to be responsible for it. I'm responsible for it too, and they're inspired in their hearts to participate. So, like Curtis Martin and Focus. I mean, it's a
beautiful example. Love the So you like, I think especially in the theological world, we're seeing more and more some of the best theology of the church is lay people. I mean, so we've talked about Curtis Martin. We've talked about Ed Shree, Scott Hahn.
Yeah, like Kimberly Williams and Chris Petrin, who are on our staff in catechesis and RCIA. Where are they getting the stuff to help us to do RCIA?
Yep.
It's from the Augustine Institute.
Yep.
Chris Petrin's working on a master's degree from the Augustine Institute, which is not run by priests.
Yeah,
it's the laity. And what I love about that is like it's whenever I watch those videos or I see some of the books that are coming out, those people were my professors in seminary. So, it wasn't just a bunch of priests that were teaching us, yes, and a bunch of nuns, yes, but the majority of the staff at the seminary was the laity who were teaching the faith to priests, teaching the scriptures, teaching moral and ethics, and
who runs your RCIA?
Kimberly Williams.
Who runs my RCIA? Stacy Humbert.
Yeah.
Right. So just a couple examples. So I have a finance council, which there are two priests on the finance council, me and Father Robert. Right.
Finance council.
But the head of the head of the finance council is a guy named Cade Crawford, married, is a banker. I have a parish pastoral council, which I'm on, and Father Robert is on. But who runs it? Her name is Annie Ortiz. She teaches 5th grade at Westwood. Right? I have a group called the Parish Leadership Team that helps me in kind of a lot of the day-to-day operations, right? Mm-hmm. And I lead that, but who's on it? Me and Father Robert. I have a deacon who's on it, but then also Aaron Johnson, Stacy Humbert, Betsy McNeil, like lay people who play. I mean, I cannot overstate the role that they play in the life of our parish.
Let me give you another one. When I arrived in Stillwater, I was only here a couple months when those donors showed up and said, "Hey, we would like to give $5 million to a capital campaign."
Yeah,
and I was like, "There's not a capital campaign." In 23 and a half hours, two families had donated. And who did I go to first? The next morning, I called up Denny Scheller, Father Paul Scheller's dad, and I was like, Denny, you ran Mercury Marine in like all parts of the world. I need your help. And then he called Paul McMullen, two lay people and they got together and they formulated a plan on how we were going to build a new church.
Yep.
And I was like, you got these guys. You got to be kidding me. You're awesome. You're
so those are beautiful, I think, examples of that. The idea, Pope Benedict's idea of co-responsibility.
Yes.
And we see that all through. So let me just give you another quote, Lumen Gentium, paragraph 30. There are certain things which pertain in a special way to the laity, both men and women, by reason of their condition and mission. Due to the special circumstances of our time, this is 1960s, the foundation of this doctrine must be more thoroughly examined. For their pastors know, that's us, for their pastors know how much the laity contribute to the welfare of the entire church. They also know they were not ordained by Christ to take upon themselves alone the entire salvific mission of the church toward the world.
Wow.
So, priests, I mean, I'll just speak for you and I. We are well aware of our massive limitations to do the mission of the church, right? So you talk about evangelizing the campus of Oklahoma State, and I talk about evangelizing Payne County, Oklahoma. Like, do you think these two knuckleheads who are your pastors like are going to be able to pull that off by ourselves? I'm going to go with no, at all.
We want your wisdom and help, because
yeah.
I mean, like, look at our two different groups of staff and volunteers and people who just love the church. What are they doing? They're bringing their gifts and talents and wisdom and knowledge and their life of prayer to making these decisions. It is just mind-boggling sometimes of how the Holy Spirit orchestrates all of this,
Puts it all together
to bring the people.
Yeah, the people that you need at the right time.
And so I think people are afraid sometimes, like, oh, I don't want to. No, it's like, no, come on.
We need you.
Uh-huh.
And I think to hear for you all who are lay people, that's the vast majority of the people listening, to know how the church views your role. So let me give you one more quote from Lumen Gentium. Upon all the laity, therefore, rests the noble duty of working to extend the divine plan of salvation to all men in every land. Consequently, may every opportunity be given them so that according to their abilities and the needs of the times, they may zealously participate in the saving work of the church.
In the saving work of the church.
The saving work. So the mission, it's not like we're going to take a big vote. Okay, what's our mission? Like, the mission is not up to, it's not determined by the Pope or the bishops or priests or laity. The mission is given to us by Christ. Matthew 28, go and baptize all nations in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. That's the mission.
Yes.
It's set. We're there. We've arrived. But now, how is that mission then carried out? And I think to see that the role of the laity, I say this all the time to my parishioners, there are places I don't get invited. Like, I can't show up at your business and go desk to desk, cubicle to cubicle, and evangelize. I'm not welcome there.
Right. I can't go into a dorm room at 11:30 on a Thursday night and have a theological discussion with a bunch of freshmen, which happens.
No one's asking us. They're asking you, their roommate, their office mate, their coworker. They're asking you, hey, why are you Catholic? Or what do Catholics believe? What's the deal with the Eucharist? They're not asking us. Now, some people ask us, fine, and we're on, let's go. But most of the time, they're not asking us. They're asking you. And so, are you ready? Can you respond to those questions? And is your faith being lived out? If you ask, like, all the people who became Catholic, 50 plus people who became Catholic in Stillwater this year, if you ask them, who was the example for you to want to look into the Catholic Church more? My guess is, of the 50 people, I'm going to go with none of them listed a priest or
you inspire
a nun.
Me.
They're going to say my wife, my son, my
dad,
my boss,
my dad who became Catholic.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Anyway, we've run out of time. We could come back to this, man. Holy cow! There's a lot more to say, but just that we want you to see. We are co-responsible for our parishes. We're co-responsible for the church as a whole. Really, really, really important for laity to know your role. And it's dang important.
And take Lumen Gentium and read the section on the laity this summer if you got, a podcast on what to do this summer. That's a good idea.
Okay. The other one I'll just say real quick is a document of John Paul II called Christi Fidelis Laici, which came out in 1988 on the role of the laity. It's 78 pages. There's a lot we can say about this. But we're going to go. Hope you have a great week.
Peace.